Hey, what's going on, Wildlife X team? This is Michael here, and I am with
Miranda.
Miranda, and where do you work from?
Memphis, Tennessee.
Miranda from Memphis, Tennessee, and we're going to quickly interview her. We're going to be talking about Wildlife X team, some of her interesting jobs and whatnot. So, tell me, what is your favorite thing about working with animals and doing Wildlife X team related stuff?
So my favorite part would probably have to be the fact that I'm able to use my degree. I went to a university, got a degree in wildlife biology, and so being able to use all of that information that I learned and applying it in the field on a daily basis, and also sharing my knowledge with the customers while helping them solve their problems. But working with the animals themselves is an absolute blast. I mean, every animal's different. They have their own personality.
Yeah.
And so sometimes it's a challenge because whenever you go to try and trap a raccoon, that seems like, oh, okay, I've done this several times, but I've found one that's been trapped before. So no matter what I do, I cannot, it is the hardest animal I've ever had to capture. I think this raccoon's smarter than me right now.
Wow. You know, I read some articles online. We had made some content about raccoons and how they're getting smarter in the urban environments. Like, they are very, very intelligent, smarter than dogs, smarter than cats, scientifically speaking. So what have you tried to do to catch this sneaky little raccoon?
So I'm having to manipulate this cage trap like none other than I've had to do before, because if you just set your bait in there, they're able to reach through the sides. So you have to cover that back panel of the cage without cutting off their airflow by covering the whole cage.
Yeah.
Well, you think, okay, maybe that'll do it. But then they reach over and they grab the food without stepping on the paddle. So then you have to secure the bait to the cage after you have it covered, like duct tape the back half. And then even then, I've had them still, get that food out.
Still figure it out.
So I have to really, really work with the trigger mechanism on the door to set it and make it super, super sensitive. And then barely open a can of food and secure it where they absolutely have to really move around in that cage, and maybe not by just stepping on the paddle, but moving the cage would be enough to have that door shut on.
Wow.
So it takes a lot. Every situation's different.
And we do it safely too, so we can't just shoot the raccoon or whatever. We actually gotta we gotta take care of the animals and safely return them to the wild and everything.
Oh yeah, I always do a wellness check on every animal that I capture, and if it's not suitable for release, thankfully, my husband works for Tennessee State Parks, and at the state park that we're at, one of the other rangers is a certified wildlife rehabber. So any animal that doesn't really pass a full wellness check, I'm able to take to her. She's able to fix them up, and then in about a couple days, they're ready for releasing.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
A lot of people, they have a misconception thinking that a wildlife removal company is just going in, killing animals and whatnot, but really we're trying to take care of them and safely return them to where they'll be happy, so we're happy, they're happy, everybody's happy.
Oh yeah, the clients absolutely love to learn that I've got really good connections with the rehabber, and that I have actually quite a bit of knowledge about the species themselves. Of course, I'm no expert by any means, but I feel like all the information I've learned, my experience through college handling some of those animals as well, has really prepared me, and it makes the customers more comfortable too.
Yeah.
So I'm able to share that knowledge with them.
Do you have any childhood experience with wild animals or whatever? I had another person, and he said that he noticed for a lot of people that love this job that they have some type of childhood background of being on a farm, being out in the wild. Do you have that experience?
Not on a farm, but we did grow up on quite a big piece of land, and so with my dad running the lawnmowers, we ran into a lot of times he'd find the little dens for the rabbits. So every once in a while, thankfully, hardly ever hit any, but we were able to go and pick up those baby rabbits and just pull them, and it was so cool. And I grew up hunting and fishing as well, just being out in the woods. So I grew up around wildlife, loved it. That's what drove me to go to college for it.
That's amazing. I had done the bunny thing as well. I'd been mowing the lawn, and then we found bunnies in a little hole, and I was like, oh, thank God I didn't kill them. Now now they get to live, and they were really cute. And one really weird animal I found in my backyard was actually a turtle, which is really weird because we have a fence, so we have no idea how the turtle got there, but there was a dying turtle and we saved its life.
Well, that's good.
Yes. So what is one of the most dangerous jobs that you've had with wildlife fixing?
I'd have to say the most dangerous would be whenever we were getting young out of an attic.
Getting out of an attic?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was probably about mid-April, so the raccoon young were, I want to say about 6 weeks old maybe, and we had already rescued one out from the wall because it fell down from the attic in between a wall, and so we had to cut that drywall out above them and reach in and get that baby raccoon out, which that was really cool, being able to just reach in there. I mean, it was angry, it was biting the glove, but I mean, they didn't have any teeth, so they were just like gumming you to death.
Yeah.
But that's not the dangerous part. So we get up to the attic, and the back half of this guy's roof is open for some odd reason. We can't explain it, like how it's that way. The guy didn't realize the roofer had left it that way.
It was open. What do you mean by open?
You could see the top of his porch from the attic. Like, there's this gap about that much.
So literally wildlife animals would crawl right up and go right inside of it, their attic.
In fact, the mother raccoon did that because she heard us and the babies, because we were removing the babies from the house.
Yeah.
And she came charging in at us, and needless to say, it shocked us. I mean, I'm used to like dealing with raccoons in cages all the time.
Yeah.
Maybe like other side of the attic, I see like a head popping up, but nothing charging me. So my boss and I kind of backpedaled across the rafters a little bit.
Yeah.
So that would probably be the most dangerous thing I've had to do, is an angry mother raccoon.
Wow. It sounds like that is the case for a lot of people, where anytime you're messing with kits or any young wildlife animals, these are the ones you got to be extra careful with, because that mom, if she's not there, she's going to come and find you.
Yes. Yep, she's gonna get you all right.
Yeah. So earlier you said something about animal personalities. What did you mean by animal personalities? Like they each have their own, what do you mean?
Yeah, so some of the animals that you capture, like I've had some really calm raccoons. Some of the younger ones, whenever they're still technically juveniles, they're not yet adults, but they're much larger. Probably whenever they're, I'd say about 6 months old, they can be pretty spunky. You wouldn't expect it, but they can be pretty spunky. Some are pretty chill. With possums, they're my absolute favorite. So anytime I get a possum job, I'm just super excited, because some of them you can handle because they're typically really, really docile creatures. And as long as you got a pair of gloves on and you've had some experience, you can pretty well reach into a trap. But that's only for people who've had experience.
Yeah, so do not do this. We are not responsible if your hand gets bitten off. Leave it to us.
Yeah, they've got 50 teeth, and sometimes they really...
50 teeth?
Yes.
These possums are so cute, and you just ruined them for me.
They're so cute.
They're still cute on the outside, but they open up and they got 50 teeth.
Yeah, they try to use that as like a really big defense mechanism to show all of those pointy teeth, like, hey, I can bite you. And they can bite pretty good. I've been bitten before.
Really?
Yeah. But it's just so great to see how different each animal is. I mean, some, they're spunky, they want to get out of the cage. Some are actually very, very sweet. And some are just there to mess you up. If they get the
there to mess you up.
Yes.
They are not happy for whatever. They're having a bad day.
They did not like the fact that they got trapped. Yep.
Oh, wow. Okay, now what is... So you've been bit before.
Yes.
What were you bit by?
Possum.
A possum.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Almost bit by a snake.
Okay. And for the opossum, how did it end up biting you?
So it had messed up its nose on the trap. So it had a little bit of a bloody nose, and we had some powder that we were going to put on it, help it clot, make it feel better. And I was already like petting it a little bit, calming it down, soothing it before I got it out of the cage. And my boss at the time, he's like, well, here, I'll get it out and you can put the powder on it. Well, I don't know what it is, but every possum we've come across never liked him at all.
Really?
Like, always wanted to bite him. So he was trying to reach in there, it snapped at him, and I said, here, let me get it. Like, this possum was okay with me. So I reach in there, and he bit me. But I got gloves on, but it still left a good bruise on my hand.
Wow. But it bruised you through the gloves.
Yeah, so his teeth actually didn't pierce through. I got really lucky on that because I wasn't wearing the big bite-proof gloves. I was wearing my typical just work gloves.
Okay.
But it got the knuckle, and they got really, really powerful jaws. A lot of wildlife do. So even if they don't pierce through the glove, it's still going to leave a bruise just from the amount of pressure whenever they clamp down.
So this is really why people should leave it to the experts, because even with a light glove, they can just pierce right through it, leave a bruise, and really kind of hurt you.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Plus, you have to worry about several diseases as well, especially with raccoons. Possums, not a whole lot, but...
What kind of diseases do raccoons spread?
So, raccoons are known to be a carrier for what they call raccoon rabies. It's slightly different from canine rabies, and I believe it's more closely related to the feline rabies. That's what I've been told. I'm pretty sure, but don't quote me on that. But that's the big issue with that. But thankfully, in Tennessee, especially on the western side, there hasn't been a reported case in well over 15 years.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
But if you do get bit with an animal that has rabies, that's pretty bad, right? Like fatal?
Yeah, it's really bad. So that's why you need to just let the experts handle it. Even if they have the rabies in their system, it may not be well enough into their system where they're displaying all of the signs.
Right.
So if you get bit by one, you definitely need to go to the doctor and get tested, and also, if at all possible, have that animal tested. Unfortunately, to be tested, they have to be euthanized, but it's for your own safety at that point.
And with rabies, from what I've read online, you can confirm this. Basically, with rabies, if you get it even as a human, by the time symptoms start appearing, it's usually too late and you're going to die.
Yeah. So if you get bit, you just really need to go to the hospital immediately. But I would just recommend don't ever put yourself in a situation where you could get bit.
Or a pet.
Yes.
That's why you gotta let the experts handle it. And you get bit or a pet gets bit, they gotta get the shots immediately. Otherwise, you can get very, very sick.
Oh, yeah. And you don't want that for your pets either.
No. What do you think is the most dangerous animal for the public in general? Like, you know, crocodile, shark, whatever.
Oh, wow.
What do you think is the most dangerous?
I really don't know. I mean, personally, it's spiders. Like the brown recluses and the black widows. I mean, those are like the main two venomous ones that we have in our area. And
in Tennessee.
Yes, in Tennessee. So that's like probably the most dangerous, in my opinion, other than a venomous snake.
Okay. What makes these spiders dangerous? Like you said venom, but I mean, do they bite you and then you die? Like, what's the danger of them?
So you don't necessarily, like, you won't die from it unless you just don't do anything about it. But they're really small, and they're usually in places where you're not always sure that they're there. Like climbing through some attics, I've run into boxes of brown recluses. Pulling down an attic stair, the biggest brown recluse I've ever seen in my life has like fallen down almost on me.
I bet that was kind of scary. I would run for my life.
Yeah, I jumped back and almost like ran into the insurance agent. But because we had the adjuster out at the house, and she was I was going up there to show her some stuff, and she was like, "You got pictures from last time?" And I said, "Yes, ma'am." She goes, "Okay, I'll just take those." I could see that spider. But you can get bit, and sometimes a brown recluse will not give you a bite that gets infected where you really get sick. It just depends on what bacteria they have on them and what bacteria they have on you.
But as long as you get bit and you go to the hospital immediately, you're going to be okay, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So if you get bit by anything, go to the hospital and you'll be all right.
Yes. If you don't learn anything else, just go to the hospital if you get bit. Remember that.
Have you ever had a client get bit or a customer, whether it be during a call, before a call, after a call? Have you ever had someone get bit?
Thankfully, no.
All right, let's cross our fingers and hope that doesn't change.
I know.
And what's the most interesting job you've had? So something that made you scratch your head, or that was just really, really fascinating, or like, wow, this is crazy.
I'd have to say the one groundhog job that I've done.
Okay.
It was at an office that was out of a trailer, and so it had gotten underneath the trailer because the paneling was missing in several spots, and it had torn down the ductwork that was underneath it and some of the insulation and crawled up in there.
Okay.
And so I was like, well, if it's under there, I might be able to, get this catch pole on it, the snare, and get it out, and we'll get it done really fast. Well, I crawled under there with the catch pole and the light and everything, and I was thinking, I can find it, I can figure out where it's sitting, just because it would be hanging down a little bit further, and I couldn't find it for the life of me. So I started pushing up on it above my head, and I mean, there's only 2 foot of room under there.
Yeah.
And
so you're tight under there. You're
yes.
like, oh, this is not comfy.
Yes, but so I was like, man, I'm probably gonna have to smoke it out, because there's no way I'm gonna be able to find this thing under this whole trailer right now. So I kind of push up a little bit where my head's touching that insulation where it's hung, and I start feeling a little pattern on the top of my head. That groundhog was on top of my head with only this much in between me and it.
Wow, it was right
yes,
there all along.
On my head. So I got out from underneath there, and at that point we tried to fog it out, but it didn't care at all.
Really wanted to stay there.
Oh yeah, he'd made his home there. He was loving it. It was comfy and it was nice and warm. What we had to end up doing was essentially closing up all the other entry points except for one in that paneling, and setting a large cage trap. And I put some little russet potatoes in there.
Some what potatoes?
Little russet potatoes. I mean, I've heard that, I see them getting into gardens all the time. We had a garden growing up that groundhogs just tore up. We could not keep them out of. So I got some potatoes, and that evening as she was leaving, the office lady was leaving to go home, she looked over there, and there he was in the cage. And whenever I pulled up, no lie, he was literally laid back in the cage with a potato in hand.
He was really enjoying life.
Yes, he was happy.
Whatever goes on in life, just chill out and have fun with it, I guess.
Yep.
It reminds me, how you said you were under there and it was right there, right over your head. It reminds me of these stories where, I'm looking for my phone and I can't find it, and then I'm like, oh wait, it's in my pocket all along. That's what it was like for you.
Oh yeah, except it was dancing on my head.
Earlier in our meeting, we were talking about potentially using Cheetos as bait. Cheetos as bait.
Yes.
Do you like Cheetos?
I do. But I have to refrain whenever I use them as bait, because I'm not going to eat out of the same bag.
Is it true though that it's effective?
It does work pretty well. Whenever I'm trapping for rats, I mainly start out with peanut butter, and if that doesn't cut it, I'll throw some Cheetos in the peanut butter. And if I see that they really go for the Cheetos and they've really been avoiding the peanut butter, if I use a glue trap, I'll just put Cheetos in the middle of the glue trap.
Have you ever tried peanut butter and Cheetos? Because people say peanut butter works and Cheetos work, so I would just put Cheetos on top of the peanut butter.
Yeah, I've done the whole stick your hand in the peanut butter jar, then reach into the bag of Cheetos, and then throw it in the back of a cage, a small cage trap, and I've caught a couple squirrels that way.
Wow.
Yeah.
They really wanted their peanut butter Cheetos.
Yes. It does not sound good, but they love it for some reason.
I don't know what it is, but I do know that I love Cheetos, and peanut butter is great as well, so I can understand why they love it.
Yep.
All right. Do you have anything else that you'd like to share with everybody watching?
I think I'm good.
All right. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah.
Have a good day.
They're out there looking for a home, and they found one. Yours. They want that cozy place in your attic or under your foundation. Give them enough time, and you'll be paying big bucks to fix their damage. Wildlife X-Team specializes in removal and prevention of wildlife infestation, responsibly and professionally. Wildlife X-Team has earned the top-rated award from Home Advisors because they're experts at what they do. Just one call, and they're gone. 855-WILDLIFE or wildlifexteam.com.